Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, sir.
I have a question. You keep talking about all your stuff, all the stories about you behind the mic and in front of the mic. And how about your experiences
Inside the mic.
No, yes! In front of the camera!
Oh.
Scanners.
Inside, in front of the camera, I love in front of the camera. One of my favorite roles of all time was the beer delivery guy in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
You never saw that movie? I'm the guy that goes, oh, wrong Mr. Pickford altogether. So, but, no, I love, I mean, you know, working in front of the camera is great. You know, it's fun. You know, it's obviously different. There's a whole lot of hurry up and wait. We refer to it as hurry up and wait. You know, you get there, call time, 6 a.m. All right. You get there at 6 a.m. And I was doing a show called Chase, which I think is off the air now, but my call time was like at noon. In fact, I was up in Dallas, and I went over to Funimation and hung out there for a little bit. Came over to the set, got there at noon, my call time's at noon. I started shooting at like 7 o'clock.
Ooh.
Like, really?
Damn.
You know, and
You must have had to have 2 meals before you even started shooting.
I had 3 meals.
My goodness.
I stopped by for a bucket of chicken.
Well, they make you eat on set.
Oh yeah, no, well, of course we ate and everything, but it's just, you know, there's a lot of, you stay in what's called a honey wagon.
Yeah.
And the stars stay in their trailer. I have a honey wagon, so it'd be the difference of this room and I stay in this table. But it's my table. Has my name on it. So, but I gotta tell you, I love it all. It's always fun, but I really just love voice acting so much more. It's so much more fun. Like I said earlier, there's more ways you can expand what you want to do, and you can, you know, just throw it out there, and you can be anybody you want to be and not have to worry about
Getting arrested.
that I'm 30 pounds overweight, or I'm too short, or I'm too tall, or I've got a mustache, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's just, you be who you want to be. So it's a lot of fun.
You mentioned that transition earlier. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Was that just a fluke? Like you just happened to get called for this anime thing, or were you kind of like, hey, I'd like to check this out?
No, it was a fluke. It was absolutely a fluke. I was working in a band. I had a band called the PC Cowboys, which was a politically correct country and western band. Check it out on iTunes. It's all up there. We did a couple of CDs and stuff, but it was all comedy. For instance, we did a song called Idaho, and the setup for it was, we were from Bridge City, Texas, and we were headed to Florida for a gig, and a truck broke down in the Pacific Northwest. Turns out we had the map upside down, and when you're drunk, Idaho looks a lot like Florida. So we didn't make our gig, but we did write a song called Idaho, and it goes like this, and we start into it, and the first line is, Idaho, but I lost her. So anyway, check it out on iTunes. But anyway, we were doing a gig down in Texas City, Texas, at a comedy club, and this actor by the name of Jason Lee, who's married to Amanda Wynn Lee, happened to be there. And he said, you know, we were talking and stuff, and he's like, well, you do a lot of voice work. And I was like, yeah, I do commercials and stuff like that. He goes, you ought to try this thing out I'm doing, man. My girlfriend does it. It's called anime. It's like, all right, whatever. Does it pay? You know, I'll do it if it pays, you know. It's like, yeah, so he got me an audition with Amanda, and, you know, the rest is, as they say, history. So, yeah.
I noticed that you and a bunch of other Funimation actors and actresses running this show called Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm.
And are you guys going to do more of those in the near future?
I wish. Friday Night Lights is a series in Texas based on the movie. And it's about high school football, which I know Floridians know nothing about football. But I auditioned for it and got a call back. And I was very excited because I got a call back, and it was for a recurring character, a new football coach that was coming in. And I got a phone call, and I went up to the call back, and I came home, and I was like, I don't think it went that well, but we'll see. And it was a Tuesday. I'll never forget this. It was a Tuesday, and the opening of dove season in Texas. And I went out for the first time with a friend who took me dove hunting. I went out dove hunting and shot a bunch of dove, and came home, got a phone call to go do some voice work, took a nap, came home, took a nap, and then got a phone call that I just got cast in this show. And I was like, well, this is a pretty spectacular day. It's all right. And she goes, you got cast as Coach Granger. And I was like, Coach Granger? Well, that's not the name of the guy I auditioned for. No, you got the role of the coach that leaves so the new coach can come in. I was like, okay, well, at least I got something. But it was, anyway, so I went up and did it, and just worked on it one day. And I really thought, because it was a fun little episode, and I get smacked, we're dealing with these ruffians at this school that don't want to have anything to do with practice, and I'm getting all pissed off and huffy, and I'm like, you want the ball, you want the rocks, you gotta earn it, blah, blah, and this guy's like, here, boom, and he throws it, and it hits me in the nose, and I'm like, ow, my nose, and we do this whole fake blood thing, and the coach, Kyle Chandler, comes over, and he's like, Coach, you okay? I'm like, get away from me, and I go storming off, and that's the end of it. And I always thought, they should bring him back, and like, he's the coach that sits up in the stands with a bottle just, fucking kids. But the show ended. I mean, it's over. It's done. So. Although I should start my own web series, Coach Granger, the disgruntled coach.
Later years.
The rest of the story. Yes. We'll get you in a second. What's that?
How did you get cast as Lord Death?
I was awesome. I was awesome in the audition. No, that was Zach Bolton directed that, and I remember him asking me to audition for it. And when you look at a character's picture, you see the animation. Your wheels start to turn, and you start to go, okay, this is what I think the voice might want to sound like. Pardon me. And so when I first auditioned for it, I think I went in and was like, all right, now you listen to me. It's this kind of deeper thing. And he's like, let's go more comical. Let's do something more, listen to the Japanese. And I was listening to it. I was like, okay. So then that's how we got into the whole, now, hello, how are you today? More scratchy and screechy voice. So anyway, again, that was another example of, really listening to what the Japanese actor had done and trying to follow it. So, question here, then we'll get yours.
What do you like to watch?
I'm sorry?
Do you watch other animes besides the ones that you do?
I don't. You know what I really watch is Family Guy. I absolutely love Family Guy. And I work a lot, so I don't get a lot of chances to watch TV. My wife got me roped into NCIS, so I watch a lot of that. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool show. Viva's pretty hot. But yeah, I mean, we DVR it. I'm like, I come home, at night. I'm just like, my wife goes to bed. I'll sit up for like 2 hours watching Family Guy. Yeah, I've seen this one 80 times. What's 81? What's going on? Yeah.
You mentioned that you you normally get like clips of Japanese like before you just start working on the role, and then when they show you clips, is it just from like the early episodes, or are they trying to show you maybe like some pivotal scenes as the series progresses if they have it, or is it just from like maybe just like?
Are you talking about for an audition?
Well, no, once you get the role, and like you said with the lower depth, when he's like, okay, listen to Japanese. Like, do they show you like just random scenes just to try to get the role, or do they show you like maybe scenes?
Well, no. I mean, once you've gotten a role, you start at the beginning and work linearly through it because you want to follow the story arc of the character so you can act it appropriately. Because and I hope I wasn't misleading. You're not exactly mimicking what that actor did. You can bring something to the table, but you do want to do it linearly. But you'll start at the very beginning. But sometimes a character might just have a few words like "stop" or "ah," something like that at the beginning, and so you may start your recording at a juicier scene, if you will, that has more dialogue in it, because you really want to get the character established. Then you can go back and do those beginning lines. But you usually start the story from the beginning and go all the way through it, as opposed to, I think if I understand your question correctly, jumping around from scene to
Well, it was
scene.
more to sort of like, to get a feel for the Japanese, kind of have the Japanese form and kind of a little bit of a feel for the character. Like I thought maybe that they would maybe show you a couple scenes. So you
Yes.
Sort of,
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So you can sort of like, okay, so this is what it is, and then
Yeah.
from that you just sort of. I was just wondering if they like show you like maybe some scenes like if it's like a 26 episode thing, maybe they show you some scenes like in like episode 25.
No, not really that. Not so much that, because generally, they may not get all 26 episodes or 13 or however many there are in that season or that, set. They may not get all the episodes at once. And especially when I was at ADV, when you were doing it as DVDs, you were only releasing, 3 or 4 at a time. So you would just kind of focus on 1 through 4, then 5 through 8, and, in sections. So you really wouldn't go, you wouldn't
have that.
you would have that luxury, number one, and the director, you just wouldn't do it. And there's no point really, Now the director might tell you, okay, you need to know this. Oh, excuse me. You need to know this because in episode 18, you reveal this, which has been your plan all along. So it would be helpful to know something like that, ahead of time, so you can kind of put that into your read. But generally speaking, the director can just direct you in the way that he or she wants to get the right read that they want. So, question? Anybody else? Yeah. Well, let's go again, and then we'll get you. Yes, ma'am.
From what you were saying about like you travel for like TV shows, it reminded me of when I found a video a friend of mine showed me of Travis Willingham on Nip Tuck. If you ever saw that?
I know the show, and I know Travis, but I've not seen Travis on Nip Tuck.
Apparently, as I was watching it, I'm like, where is he? Oh dear, he was the transvestite in the story.
Wow.
Yeah,
Do you
it was pretty
have
fun.
standards, or do you try for anything that just looks fun?
Are you asking if I would be a transvestite?
No, I'm
Absolutely.
just saying, like, do you have like standards? Like, do you read it? Like, oh, I don't want to try out because of this, or
Like, would you?
I have absolutely no standards whatsoever. I will do anything.
Would you do hentai?
Oh.
Have you done hentai?
Would you do it with me? I've done a little bit. It wasn't so much hentai as it was a scene in a show where Carl Masick was directing it. It was ADV. And my character was this badass who gets a little lip service from a female.
No way.
And I had to portray the enjoyment of that lip service.
Or you're like,
Hang on, I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah, it was very weird. I mean, oh God. Okay, good shot, Yeah, it was super weird. It was uber weird, Especially because you got 2 guys looking at you going,
Oh my God.
But that's great for you to step out of your comfort zone and do something like that.
oh, well, yeah. Now, there's a great classic story at ADV, where this actress named Christine Naughton had to do a sex scene And again, it was not a hentai picture, it was just something in the show. And she had to really get into it. And so she asked, would you guys, hit record and then turn around and not watch. And so, and other actors, I'd like to hang a curtain, on the window, because there's a window, and I mean, it's, it's a little odd. Unless you're an exhibitionist, come on in, So anyway, she started doing this scene, and she's like, oh, yes, oh, God, oh, and she's breathing really heavily. Well, she hyperventilates.
Oh, no.
And passes out.
You guys ever watch?
And passes out against the door. So they can't get in.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I've obviously got in and helped her. And I remember one show, it was a live action movie, I think it was Jungle Juice or
What?
Jungle Juice.
Does not sound good.
I think that was an name. But anyway, it was a live action, I think it was Korean. And the opening, the audition was like, okay, John, you're the lead bad guy. I mean, this guy's the lead bad guy. He's just a son of a bitch. And in this scene, he's in the shower, pleasuring himself.
Oh, no.
While his family is cooking breakfast right over there.
Oh my God.
Can you do it? Well, I did it this morning. Why not? I got the part.
Mom saw that.
So yeah, I mean, it's acting. It's nothing. I mean, there are probably some things I wouldn't do. I don't know really what they are. It'd have to be a case-by-case study.
You know if you saw it.
But I think you have to just kind of look at the project, see what the project is. Is this a good project? Is it what's it? I mean, if I had to play a child molester, would I do it? Well, maybe if it's a movie or something about killing child molesters, yeah, I'd probably do it. But if it was about, this is great, I don't think I want to be part of it.
We have about 5 minutes, so
Okay.
probably last question or two.
Yeah, we'll do a couple more, whatever you guys need. We got 3 questions. All right, we'll start with here, and then there.
I was going to ask, what was the most challenging read or wine or
The shower scene when I...
shower? Okay. All right. Okay. That was the question. That was the whole question.
Great on that.
No, go ahead. What was the most challenging?
Yeah, challenging scene or wine or what have you that you've had to do in voice acting, or you would say challenging.
Okay, I don't know if this is the most challenging, but I was working on a show at ADV, and the director, a guy named Don Rush, was notorious for not really knowing what he wanted. And he would get you to do things over and over and over again. And we were doing this scene where there's an explosion, and my character's standing on this pipe, and the pipe blows up, and we get blown off the pipe, and then we land. So the whole little scene is, ah! And then you land. Something that simple. And we did it. We did it again. We did it again. We did it again. After take 15, I looked up and I'm like, dude, I don't fucking know what I mean, I cannot do this. And he's like, well, maybe the take from 12 or 8. I don't know, just, you're getting blown off. And I was like, and I looked up, and the engineer, if the director's sitting here, the engineer's doing this. The director character turns and he's like, Jacob, what do you think? And he goes, I think it's an off-screen Foley. Fucking pick one! You don't have to get, yes, I do! Swasey's done 20 of them! Pick one! I was in the mood. All right, next question.
I was gonna ask, what would you say to someone who wanted to become a voice actor, like they wanted to work with animation?
Move to Dallas. It's a good question. You know, we get that all the time when we're doing these. And the thing is, you got to be in the market that they're in. 15, 20 years ago, or 96, when ADV started. I mean, what an absolute gift from above that was. ADV in their heyday was the #1 distributor of anime in North America. In Houston, Texas. I mean, really? They provided more work for more actors. I mean, we had, at their peak, we had 5 studios running from 9 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. We had 2 shifts. I mean, it was like going to the factory. At 4 o'clock, like, hey Bill, hey Tom, how you doing? Walking in and starting up again, you know. And of course, they've kind of gone bye-bye and they've changed their deal. And they're not doing very much anymore, but they're still doing some. Most of the work in Texas now is at Funimation up in Dallas. And when ADV was up here and Funimation was kind of down here, and I'm just talking about production value, production output. Some of us would go to Dallas occasionally, and then now they're flip-flopped. Well, the Houston actors had to go to Dallas now. Some of them moved to Dallas. Josh Greeley, Monica Rial, they moved to Dallas to work for Funimation. And we still get called occasionally in Houston, but in all honesty, Dallas just didn't have that talent pool at first. So they were trying to bring people up that knew how to do this. But now they've got the talent pool. They've developed it. They've cultured it or cultivated it. So, man, when I audition for something, I'm going against a lot of good people up there. And, to bring me up, they have to say, are you available this day? Because they don't want to, they can't just say, can you come in for an hour? I'm not driving 300 miles or, 700 miles round trip to do an hour, So it's kind of tough. I mean, the work is slimming out a little bit, and I've had to make decisions, do I want to say, look, I'll come up for this or come up for that? But so if you want to do it, you have to be basically in that town, or willing to travel to that town at your own expense without any problem whatsoever. That's kind of the rub. But, yeah.
Do you think it's better to be in Dallas or LA, New York?
It depends. LA does a lot of work. Dallas does a lot of work. LA probably does more work, but I mean, there's not. I'd like to talk to some of the LA actors, that are here. But I was talking to one last night, and he's like, it's not rocking right now. One thing you've got to understand is, Japan is in a world of hurt right now, and producing more anime is not at the top of their list. Trying not to have a nuclear meltdown is right up there, but making more anime is not up there. So a lot of the stuff is shut down and stopped. I think you're going to see a big decrease in anime in the next year or so, at least. But Dallas is a lot cheaper than LA, so you may not have to do as much work, but it doesn't cost as much to live. So it's I don't know. I think maybe 6 one, half dozen the other, but. For me, Texas has worked out fine. Oh, I will tell you this quick. I know we're wrapping up. I got to tell you this. Speaking of Family Guy, this is I lived in LA for a while, and this is just the way my life is. My roommate was Janine Garofalo. Do you ever know who that is? And I was hanging out with Janine and Andy Dick and Ben Stiller and Bob Odenkirk, and it was before they were famous, And I'm meeting with these people, and we're all talking, and we're hanging out. And I decided, well, I got to move back to Houston because I ran out of money. So I moved back to Houston, and a friend of mine that I had met out in LA named Mike was a stand-up comedian, and he was like, hey, I'm coming home to Richmond, Virginia, and I'm coming through Houston. Can we hook up for a beer? And I said, sure. So we hooked up and went out for a beer, and some other friends of his met us, and we're hanging out. He was trying to be a stand-up comedian, and he goes, you know, his friends are like, so Mike, you know, how are things out in LA? And he's like, oh, they're great, man. You know, I got a spot at Catch a Rising Star on Sunday nights at, you know, 11:50 every Sunday, man. That's my spot. And I was like, wow, that's making it for you, huh? And I was like, you know, I had just done Dazed and Confused, had done a